real reason why I decided to start rapping, I just wanted to better my life. I wanted to do something better for my life. Not all the time money is the best thing for your life.
Mase, one of the early signees to Bad Boy Records, has consistently expressed his belief that he never received the rightful earnings from his globally recognized songs. Similar sentiments were also shared by Craig Mack regarding the compensation he felt he was owed.
They were supposed to give me the money, and I go in the studio and I start banging out. So he came to me and was like, yo, I can only cut you a third of the money I'm supposed to give you.
One after another, each member of the record label began divulging in their interviews that they too had never received their full earnings, and in some cases, not even half of the total amount owed to them.
Somewhat independent, signed to myself, put out music and put my artists out freely.
Even Biggie, the label's beloved artist and creator, harbored doubts about receiving his rightful earnings. However, in his case, the situation differed as he was so engrossed in his work that he might not have realized he was being deprived and taken advantage of by the label. This is what Gene Deal said about this situation.
Just a business type situation, but they were cool. But Puff had robbed Big.
But who was behind all these injustices against the label's artists, who never received their rightful dues, or when they did, it fell far short of acknowledging their hard work? It was none other than the founder of the label company, Diddy himself.
First of all is there has been negative propaganda put out about me. That's not true.
Reports have indicated that Diddy never allocated the royalties to the artists of Bad Boy Records, and a significant number of artists were denied their publishing rights. To begin with, let's delve into Mase's case, as he was among the first to bring this issue to light.
But if it comes to getting ugly where somebody's gonna be trying to me, I'm gonna have to do something first.
By now, it's widely acknowledged that Diddy bears responsibility for the downfall of Bad Boy Records, and the stories of the label's artists are well known. Some artists resorted to drastic measures, like throwing chairs to break free from the label, while others faced legal troubles and imprisonment. A few stars found themselves in religion, and over time, the label earned a reputation as the Bad Boy Curse, where joining the roster often seemed to lead to a downward spiral. Yet going through all these turmoils, none of them ever received the fruit.
Obviously, he was the uber star, and I was just up and coming. So, yeah, it's gonna be a show. But he used that to just, just threw me off. Like, it was terrible, man.
Mase was expected to rise as a significant star not just in the R&B scene, but also in the broader rap industry. Hence, it was a shock when he declared his decision to abandon rap and pursue a career as a pastor, especially given his chart-topping success from '96 to '99. His unexpected departure from Bad Boy Records fueled intense speculation and controversy. How is it that a 19-year-old rapper can wake up one day and declare, you know what, I want to get out of this, and become a minister? In 1999, Mase, whose birth name is Mason Betha, made the announcement that he was departing from Bad Boy Entertainment to establish SANE Ministries, an acronym signifying Saving a Nation Endangered. Following what he described as a profound encounter with God, he adopted the title of Minister Mase. He also claimed he was leading people, friends, kids, and others down a path to hell, stating that he left to find God in his heart and follow him.
If the devil can use him aggressively, then I want you to know God could use me aggressively.
In fact, it's said that when Mase was at the height of his career, driven by the success of his album Harlem World, he revealed this transition to a radio interviewer. I felt like I had a lot of money, but I didn't really know who I was. I knew I had to do something other than just hip-hop. However, there are some who remain uncertain about the reasons behind Mase's departure. Exiting a contract with Diddy and Bad Boy Records was not an easy feat, as Diddy was known for keeping artists signed for extended periods.
And then Puff showed him. He was like, yo, I'm gonna show this. He think I'm playing with him. And then Craig was ostracized from Bad Boy.
Despite not receiving any royalties for 5 years, Mase made a comeback with his album Welcome Back under the Bad Boy label. However, he later expressed a renewed desire to leave and even managed to secure an interview with Puffy. During that interview, he formally requested to be released from his contract.
After Puff signing this official, your boy is Freedom Bird. Once I get the paper signed, then I come.
Oh, that's what it is, guys. What you gonna have to talk about?
In 2016, Mase made a comeback during a Bad Boy Records tour and wasted no time in publicly criticizing his former boss. Following this incident, he took to Instagram for a live session to provide an explanation of the circumstances surrounding the disagreement.
When I see the hurt and the pains of other people on Bad Boy, that motivates me to say something so I don't be deemed as a person who just made a bunch of money and turned a blind eye.
Despite Diddy delivering a heartfelt speech at the Grammys, it appeared that tensions never truly subsided between him and Mase, as the latter resumed his criticism of Diddy. Diddy said, "Truth be told, hip-hop has never been respected by the Grammys. Black music has never been respected by the Grammys to the point that it should be." While many musicians could relate to Diddy's words, Mase was not among them. In a now-deleted Instagram post, the rapper voiced his grievances about the unfair treatment he had endured under the leadership of Bad Boy Records label head. "Your past business practices knowingly has continued purposefully, starved your artists, and been extremely unfair to the very same artists that helped you obtain that Icon Award on the iconic Bad Boy label." In a recent appearance on the $1 Million Worth of Game podcast hosted by Wallow and Gilly, the Harlem World rapper delved further into his perspective, explaining how he believed Puff had impeded his career growth and denied him the financial compensation he deserved. "What did Puff do to piss you the f*** off?" Wallow asked Mase. "I felt like I did more than I got credit for, more than what I got paid for," he shared on the released podcast. Mase's most direct reference to Diddy is when he brings up Diddy's recent name change to Brother Love. "Since Kane Abel, I'm able to Kane. Love don't steal. My change your name," Mase raps. People began to speculate that this rap was aimed at Diddy and suggested a connection to the conspiracy theory that Diddy was involved in the killing of Notorious B.I.G. for financial gain. Apart from Mase, other musicians who were once signed with Diddy have also chosen to leave their music careers behind and instead focus on their religious beliefs. The question that lingers, however, is what precisely prompted this shift? What did they witness or experience that led them down this path?
You ever notice how a lot of ex-Bad Boy artists run to some sort of religion afterwards?
What is your name, sir?
My name is Craig Mack.
And what did you used to do when you was in the world?
Wickedness.
Wicked. Oh, okay. And what are you doing now?
Righteousness.
Whoa, hallelujah.
The first artist to release music under Bad Boy Records was Craig Mack. Initially, it seemed like Mack's career was on the rise, but it eventually took a downturn. Some skeptics believe that his career was doomed from the beginning, often pointing to Diddy's discovery of the Notorious B.I.G. as a significant factor, although the exact reasons remain unknown. Speculation even suggests that an attempt was made on Craig's life due to these circumstances.
I'm not gonna be an idiot and sit here and do all this stuff for everybody, and I'm not gonna see anything from it.
A lesser-known but interesting fact about the artist formerly known as MC-EZ is that he had a low tolerance for nonsense. This played a role in his decision to leave the music industry and seek a deeper connection with God. In a recently uncovered interview, Craig Mack shared his experience of a deal gone wrong, which began with a threat and could have culminated in tragedy if he hadn't received a timely inner calling from the Lord.
Puff didn't like him for whatever reason he didn't. He told Craig, yo, if you don't fire your manager, you can't work for Bad Boy.
In an interview with Primetime Music, shared by Vlad TV, Mack recounted a situation where an unnamed individual encouraged him to create another album. He agreed to the project and offered a low price for his services. They initiated the project, and Mack had already started recording tracks when the person informed him that they could only provide him with 1/3 of the agreed-upon payment. Fortunately for the unnamed individual, Mack had a personal passion for the music and was determined to see the project through. To accommodate the financial constraints, they struck a new deal. Mack would receive 1/3 of the originally agreed-upon payment up front, with the understanding that the individual would continue making payments as they progressed and eventually provide the final 1/3 upon completion of the album.
You know what I'm saying? I'll take a third again. I'll take a third again when we finish the actual recording of the album. Nothing happened. No money.
However, Despite the new arrangement, Mac still was not receiving his payments as promised. Frustrated with the situation, he made the decision to halt the recording process. This decision prompted a phone call from the unnamed individual, during which the situation escalated. Mac recalled that the phone call began with the individual claiming that Mac owed them an album. He said, "And I'm like, excuse my French, but I don't owe you shit. You owe me money, so if you can come up with the rest of this dough, we can come up with the rest of the album. No dough, no records. That's it." In response to the escalating situation, Mac decided to take action. He arranged a meeting with the unnamed individual at an undisclosed studio at 7 p.m. for a face-to-face confrontation. To ensure his safety, Mac brought along one of his associates who was armed. When Mac arrived at the studio with his armed companion, he sensed immediately that the other party had ill intentions toward him. Mac reiterated his earlier terms, but it seemed the individual was still unwilling to compromise. This tense meeting left Mac concerned about potential repercussions in the streets.
So I said, all right, meet me up there at 7 o'clock. And I went and got one of my gunmen. They saw him, and they fell back, because they was going to do something to me.
As he was receiving death threats, people speculated that these threats were the reason he left the Bad Boy Records and joined an unnamed religion. Following the alarming incident, Craig Mack withdrew from the public eye and did not make any television appearances. However, he re-emerged in the public sphere through a video released by the Overcomer Ministry, a secretive Christian group located in South Carolina. It's worth noting that this ministry has been labeled a cult by former members. In the video, you can witness Craig Mack actively participating in the activities of the ministry.
What is your name, sir?
My name is Craig Mack.
And what did you used to do when you was in the world?
Wickedness.
Oh, okay. And what are you doing now?
Righteousness.
Whoa, hallelujah.
Indeed, after witnessing the transformation in Craig Mack's demeanor in the video, those around him noticed a significant positive change. He appeared happier and more energized, seemingly liberated from the burdens he had previously experienced. These unusual events sparked discussions about the Bad Boy curse, a topic that explored the reasons why many artists who were once a part of Bad Boy Records chose to leave the label.
We don't want talented as a bad boy.
In one of his recent interviews, Craig Mack revealed something highly shocking.
I had a gun in my lap. And I'm sitting there and I'm talking to God. I'm like, Lord, I don't want to do this.
However, for some reason, he did not, as Max's medical condition deteriorated with each passing year, which ultimately led to his passing. Craig Mack passed away on March 12, 2018 in a hospital near his home in Walterboro, South Carolina, and the cause of death was heart failure. Beyond Mase and Mack, the Locks were another former Bad Boy signees that have spoken up. A hip-hop group, they had one of the earliest public feuds with Bad Boy Entertainment. They were signed by Diddy after Mary J. Blige heard their demo tape and recommended them. After appearing on Diddy's smash hit, It's All About the Benjamins, they shot to stardom.
Who knew, like, you kind of never know, like, it's gonna be, what song is gonna be extra crazy. So, you know, and we spit and this took place, but, you know, I fought it for a minute. I did my verse that night, but...
The Locks became dissatisfied with the direction Diddy was taking Bad Boy after their 1998 album Money, Power, and Respect, and its singles failed to chart as expected. After Biggie's death, Diddy shifted away from hardcore street music toward a more mainstream sound to appeal to a wider audience and secure radio success. This shift prompted the Locks to seek out a new record company that aligned better with their musical style and vision.
He was one of them dudes that would just say crazy stuff anyway, all the time and on a daily basis. He drunk 40 ounces.
In response to their dissatisfaction, the Locks began collaborating with Rough Riders, a label associated with fellow Yonkers native DMX. This collaboration allowed them to explore a different musical direction and find a better fit for their artistic preferences.
X was already a star in Yonkers in our eyes. Right. Maybe 7 to 10 years before he ever dropped the album.
To secure their release from the contract with Diddy's Bad Boy Entertainment, the Locks initiated a campaign called Free the Locks. This campaign was their way of demanding the freedom to pursue opportunities with other labels and regain control over their careers. In 1999, during their performance at the Hot 97 Summer Jam, the Locks made a bold statement by wearing t-shirts that read, "Let the Locks go." This public demonstration further intensified their demand to be released from their contract with Bad Boy Entertainment. Following a series of confrontations and disagreements, Diddy eventually decided to part ways with the Locks, allowing them to sign with Rough Riders, where they continued their music careers for over a decade.
It worked sufficiently for what we needed it to do, but looking back
that was all on us, like, you know what I mean?
The conflict between the Lox and Diddy escalated when the group requested Diddy's assistance in securing publishing rights so they could divide their earnings. They claim that Diddy owned 50% of the publishing company. Diddy countered by stating that he owned 20% of the Lox and had earned $400,000 from them. The Lox's representative later refuted Diddy's claim with court documents, adding another layer of complexity to their ongoing dispute. According to the band, imagine working for years and years, hard work, and somebody that has nothing to do with that is getting the bulk of it. You'd be totally, utterly frustrated. And you trying to get around it for years and you call about it with lawyers, but people are too damn powerful. In response to the Lox's claims and the ongoing dispute, Diddy called into a radio show from his Manhattan office to offer his perspective on the matter.
We businessmen. We all mature adults. Say all that right there. I'm at my office. Y'all can sit on this interview with her and talk as long as y'all want to talk about it, or you can take the invitation I gave you before.
And the Lox were not ones who could sit back silently. They went off with a stronger reply. They said, once we decided to go against Diddy, he had the power to block us from ever putting a song out again. We didn't have any leverage, really, besides the street. We had mixtapes. We had people behind us who thought we would be great artists in the future. If we're gonna do it, let's do it. But just know it could go all the way bad. The Lox were eventually released from their deal with Bad Boy after their management company, Rough Riders, reportedly paid Sean Combs $2 million to buy them out of the agreement. Additionally, the royalties from Jadakiss's debut solo project titled Kiss the Game Goodbye were given to Combs as part of the resolution. But the public felt something weird during this and came forward to show sympathies to the Lox. One person wrote, "The Lox situation broke my heart. You can hear the pain in their voices. They bought themselves out of the label, but Diddy still profits if they make music, SMH wow. Thank you for breaking down the timeline. Never knew the full story." Nothing different happened with Black Rob as well. Black Rob's music career was indeed substantial, and his collaboration with the Lox on the track Can I Live highlighted his ability to hold his own among some of New York's most prominent and influential figures in the music industry.
No one man can stop me. Can I live? No front line can block me. Can I live?
Black Rob's experience within the label had its share of difficulties. His incarceration in 2006 due to a robbery charge presented a challenge. During his time in prison, Bad Boy Records reportedly removed him from their website and provided limited financial and emotional support. Despite being a featured artist on Bad Boy for Life from Puff's 2001 album The Saga Continues, Black Rob came to understand that the famous line from his boss, "Don't worry if I write rhymes, I write checks," came with certain conditions.
It's always a shock to me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? When he said, yo, that down with Bad Boy, I said, what? So I went to his house. I went to his house and got him, and he said, yeah, I'm down with Pop.
Despite his best efforts, Black Rob found it challenging to replicate the massive success of Life's Story. Unfortunately, his health continued to decline and he faced numerous obstacles on his journey. Tragically, his battle came to an end when he suffered a cardiac arrest and passed away, leaving behind a legacy of his contributions to the hip-hop world.
I mean, I've been dealing with this man for 5 years. Damn. 4 strokes. I don't know what to tell you, man.
Before his passing, in a video interview, Black Rob explained that after facing personal challenges, his longtime label had essentially abandoned him and left him feeling neglected and unsupported. He said, "Once I caught my bid, or whatever the case may be, Bad Boy Records was like, you. We're gonna use Black Rob as a springboard for this Notorious B.I.G. project," which flopped, by the way. 6 years later, Black Rob continued to express that what hurt him the most during his time serving for a larceny conviction was the lack of support and courtesy from the label, which left a lasting impact on him.
I get money.
Right.
Yeah, that's everybody know that. But the child support be slaying me, man.
Right.
I can't even live my life, man.
Netizens highly criticized Diddy for not supporting his artists. One of them wrote, "I literally can't stand this guy. You can see evil and darkness all in him, SMH. Another one added, "He let Black Rob die homeless and under crushing medical debt. He told the Lox that they should have hired lawyers when he signed them as teenagers to stop him from them. He hired Cochran for himself and let Shine sit in prison. But now that he done robbing everyone, we cool?" After facing criticism and pressure, there is finally news that Diddy has decided to return the music rights to the artists. The rapper and music mogul who founded Bad Boy Records in the 1990s has agreed to return the label's publishing rights to all artists and writers who collaborated with the company.
According to multiple reports, Sean Combs is his full name, of course. He's reassigning the music publishing rights to artists who helped make his record.
Bad Boy artists including Faith Evans, Mase, The Lox, and the Notorious B.I.G.'s estate have all reached agreements to regain their publishing rights. Despite receiving multi-million-dollar offers to buy Bad Boy's publishing, Combs made the decision to return the publishing rights to the label's artists and songwriters as a means of supporting financial empowerment for artists, particularly within the Black community.
Artists who are expected to get their publishing rights back include the Notorious B.I.G.'s estate, Faith Evans, and Mase.
While it is commendable that Diddy has decided to return publishing rights to artists associated with Bad Boy Records, some may argue that it has taken a considerable amount of time, especially considering that some artists have passed away or experienced financial hardships during this period. The issue of artist rights and compensation in the music industry is a complex and ongoing matter that has garnered significant attention in recent years.